Recruitment Officer at the University of Limerick. There are extensive options for further and higher education in Ireland, and our contributors represent just a small portion of them. But I want to take this opportunity for each of our guests to tell us a little bit about their college, the type of courses on offer, and how students can apply, and what they can look forward to if accepting a place. After that, we will get into some specifics around CAO applications and course decision making. We have some questions already submitted, and you can use the Zoom chat box at any point to ask the panel anything you need to know. Our session is also being recorded and will be available on Weblink afterwards, so you can check back on some of the specific detail. So first up, can I invite Karen Campbell of the National College of Ireland to tell us about studying at the NCI. Good evening, Karen.
Hi, how are you? Thanks very much for having me on. I've noticed there that for some reason it won't allow me to share my screen. So it says host disabled, persistent screen sharing, so it's not giving us the option to share a presentation. I don't know if that can be amended or I can just chat amongst obviously my face here, but just to have the screen in the background maybe for students to see. I don't know if that's possible. I'm just traditionally, I think with the Zoom information sessions we've had before with other colleges where we've shared a platform, we have normally shared a screen, so I just don't know if that's possible. If not, sure, you just said I'd mention if I can share it, then that's great, and if not, sure, we can just have them as my slides in the background. For myself,
I also say that your mic is slightly muffled. I think I think it's knotted and it's hard.
Oh, hang on a moment.
Ashleen, could you set the controls that Karen can actually present, please?
Is that a bit better?
Perfect.
If it is an issue, it's no problem. I can just talk. It's just sometimes people like the visual, so that they don't just see all the boxes, but it's no problem. It's fine.
I think best go ahead, Karen. I'm trying to get through to them, so.
No problem at all. So yeah, so just bear with me now. I'm going to just minimize my screen to make sure that I do say all the points that what I wanted to cover. So bear with me now. So yeah, I suppose starting off with who we are. So we're National College of Ireland, and we are based in Dublin City Centre, for those of you who don't know where NCI is. So we're very easy to get to.
Just to jump in there again, your microphone, actually, you might have to take it out, I'm afraid. It's really...
Oh yeah, is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
That's no problem. Yeah, no problem at all. Technology can be very temperamental. So sorry, yeah, so I suppose we're National College of Ireland. We are based in Dublin City Centre. For those of you who don't know where we are 5 minutes from Connolly Station, and we are based in the IFSC. So we're a 10-minute walk from any bus in O'Connell Street, and we actually have our own Lewis stop right out at the door. So we are very accessible, and I always say that to students when you're looking at your CEO choices. Not only are you looking at the minimum entry requirements, the points, you should also be looking at the commute and how you get to college every day. So what we do at NCI is we do computing, we do business, accounting and finance, human resource management, marketing, psychology, and we have a new course in childhood education and care. So just about ourselves, we are QQI accredited, so we are internationally recognised, and we fall under the Free Fees Initiative for all of our courses except for psychology, but we do accept the SUSI grant for all of the courses in NCI. And I suppose a big selling point for us is that we are a small college, and sometimes that really suits our students, and we're also part of the here and the there as well. So we do have a number of programs, the likes of business, computing, we have psychology and the childhood education care. So one of the courses that I always highlight is the higher certificate in business. It's 250 points this year was for the September intake, but it's a 2-year program, it's level 6, and allows our students to progress onto the business degree, the HR degree, the marketing degree, or accounting and finance. So if you're not too sure what area of business that you want to go into, you could do the higher cert first and progress on. It is a fantastic entry for students who are not sitting higher papers, as it just requires an 06 or H7 in 5 subjects. And then students can progress on. So they'll come into the higher cert and then they'll do 2 years. So in total, it'll be 4 years to do the level 8 honours degree with us. And again, regards to the course themselves in the School of Business, so we do have the BA honours degree in business, human resource management, accounting and finance, and marketing. And those courses can vary between 280 points to 330 points. That was the intake this year. And there is also the option of a full year work placement. that is available with these programs too. So if you're applying directly to the course, it's 3 years to do a level 8 honours degree with us, with the option of doing an add-on year. And you do require 2 H5s and 4 ordinary subjects with a minimum of 06 to include maths and English. So more details about each of those programs is on our website. We'll just try to keep it short and brief because I know there's a lot of speakers tonight. So we also have our BA Honours degree in Psychology, very popular. This year is 400 points. It is PSI accredited and it's a 3-year level 8 honours degree. It doesn't fall under the free fees initiative. So if you are a SUSY grant student, you must make sure that you are eligible for 100% tuition fees to get full fees covered for this particular program. And then in regards to our school computing, we have a number of higher certs. So we have the higher cert in science and business computing, general computing, data science, and then we have our degrees in technology management, computing, and data science. The good thing about the School of Computing is it doesn't matter if you come into the higher cert or apply directly to the level 8. It takes 4 years in total to get an honours degree with us. And we also have 6 months work placement built into the level 8 programs that features in year 3. So our graduates have industry experience when they leave us as well. So other things to highlight is our new course is the BA Honours degree in Childhood Education and Care. So this is a new program, so there isn't any points for that just at the moment, but it does require the 2 H5s and the 4 ordinary subjects, and it does have a work placement option as well. So we are very career focused. And again, we would have a lot of things going on from a student life perspective, and hopefully September 2021 we'll have all our students on site. And so we will have all our social activities and our clubs and societies for our students to get involved in. Really good for your CV, showing your fundraising for a charity, elected as a committee member. And again, we have a sports scholarship that our students can avail of. So if you are awarded this, you get it up to 3 years and you get a €2,000 bursary each year and access to the gyms. So you get a free gym membership as well and additional support as well. So how to apply for that is on our website, and it's available to apply from the 1st of February, which is the first CAO deadline, right up to the change of mind deadline, which is the 1st of July. But our big thing to highlight really is that we are not a private college, so all of our CAO courses are SUSY funded, and people love studying in NCI because we are a small college. We offer great support to our students, so whether it's academic support, library support, the IT support, so many supports that our students can avail of. And again, I suppose you might not need those supports, but great.
Karen, I'm so sorry, but the sound seems to be getting an awful lot worse. We might try and come back to you. I don't know if you need to, if you could log in again, maybe we will go to our next speaker. Unfortunately,
yeah, no problem at all.
We're getting awful feedback on it. So my apologies to you and to our viewers this afternoon. We might try and get you logged back in again and see if the sound.
Yeah, no problem. I'll give it a go.
Perfect, thank you. We're going to move on to Jean McQuillan now of the University College Dublin. So Jean, we'd like to invite you to take the floor. You're very, very welcome to our iRevise.com webinar. You can unmute yourself now as well, Jean. Thank you very much. I hope you are well.
Great. Thank you, Joanne, for having me on today, and for all the parents and students that are logged in. I'd like to say hi to Karen as well. That was great, Karen, Dervla as well, and Stephen. Great to see you all, if it's only virtually. So I'm going to share my screen. I have a couple of little slides, and I'm hoping everything will go okay. As you know yourself, these things always tend to go a little crazy. So, here we go. All right. So I'm going to give you just an overview of the campus, just to try and generate a little excitement in these virtual times of studying at UCD. So we have been around since 1854. We can trace back our history. We have such famous graduates as James Joyce and Maeve Binchy, so we're very lucky. We have over 30,000 students studying in UCD at all different levels. So we've got your undergraduate, your masters, and your doctorates as well. We also have a secure on-campus even accommodation for our students, and if you're coming in from town at night, you can call ahead and someone will escort you to your accommodation, which is fantastic to know. And we also have 150 clubs, sports clubs and societies operating at every level. We have sports ranging from Gaelic to rugby to football to trampoline societies. We have the Literary and the Historical Society, which is our longest running society. We also have jazz, comedy, we have a juggling society, believe it or not, and 3 years ago students set up the Harry Potter Society, which is over 3,000 members right now. So it's kind of a fun place to go and study and to develop your hobbies and your sports as well. So this is our campus, if nobody has seen it. It's a 130-hectare self-contained parkland campus, and the backdrop, as you can see, of the Dublin Mountains. It's near the sea and it's a bus hub as well. And the campus is perfect for our students' sporting activities because we have 15 natural grass pitches, which includes the UCD Bowl, where the football and the rugby clubs play their games. And this has a capacity of 3,000 viewers or spectators. And we have the National Hockey Stadium as well. The Irish hockey team played there. We have 9 synthetic pitches. We have tennis courts, squash courts. We have a swimming pool, and we have a running track that we are currently building, and which hopefully will be ready soon for our students, and hopefully we can all get to use these facilities. And so why UCD for you as hardworking students? We're in the top 1% of universities worldwide, and to put that into context, there are 50,000 higher education institutions out there, and we are in the top 500 of those. We're also #1 for graduate employability for the 3rd year running, which really shows that employers like our students with their degrees from UCD. We're also known as a global university in that 25% of our student body are international students. But not only that, we have 400 links with universities worldwide, and we encourage every one of our students to apply to go to study abroad within their programs. We have something called the Horizon program in UCD, and this is where our students can customize their degree to suit themselves. So we are a modular-based education system. Every student will study and hopefully pass 12 modules per year. 10 of those modules are core modules which they have to study, and they relate to the course that they have chosen. But 2 are electives, so they can choose an elective in any program that we offer across the campus. So say someone came to study engineering with us but always loved philosophy, they could do some modules in philosophy. Or if you came to do architecture and you always love the Spanish language, you could do your electives in the Spanish language. So it's a great facility for our students. We also have great student supports. We have peer mentors, we have student advisors, we have program office, we've got the administration office as well, will help with fees and grants. So in day 1, year 1, our students are assigned a peer mentor, and this is someone who will look after them in their 1st year in college. Each peer mentor is 9 students to take care of, and they are usually a student in the 2nd or the 3rd year of the course that the student's about to study. So it's a very important resource for our students. We also have student advisors who will give you advice on choosing modules, or if you need information, you'd go to your student advisor. We also have a purpose-built student centre, and housed within the student centre, we've got a 3D cinema, we've got the Gareth Fitzgerald Debating Chamber. This is it with the Debating Society. They hold weekly debates there in normal times. And we also have the Dramatic Society Theatre, which seats 100, and it also has state-of-the-art lighting and sound. We have the media corridor, and there's the radio pod in bright yellow, and that's where Belfield FM airs every day. We have media rooms to the right, and we have a health centre for our students there. We have the Astra Theatre, which is a 600-seater theatre, and this is for bigger talks to our students, or say in Freshers Week, the bands would play in the Astra Theatre, so it's a great resource. Attached to our student centre, we have our sports centre. So there's our Olympic-sized swimming pool, that's another vantage point. We have a jacuzzi, a trapedarian and solarium. I've never used any of them, but they're all there. And we have 2 big gym halls, and one has a climbing frame in it. We have a high performance gym, and we have a normal gym for normal people as well. So we have 14 broad program areas on offer to our students. And behind each of those bubbles, there's a school, there's a little community within the larger community of UCD. So they range from arts and humanities, social sciences, you're going business law, you're going into your health sciences then, your sports science, your science, architecture, engineering, agriculture, and veterinary. So we have over 60 courses to offer students. We also have accommodation on campus. Currently, we have 3,000 units, and we're increasing it to 900 units, and 1st years get priority. In the last 4 years, we have not turned away a 1st year for accommodation on our campus. So thank you for listening to me. It's just a brief overview of what we offer in UCD. It's all on myucd.ie. You can chat to our students, and thank you very much.
That's perfect, Jean. Thank you so much. A very, very whirlwind tour around UCD for our students this afternoon. So thank you so much. We're going to come now down to Munster, and we're going to talk to Dr. Stephen Ryan of the University of Limerick, who's going to tell us a little bit about the university there. He is the recruitment officer for the university in Limerick. You're very welcome, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you very much for hosting, Joanne, and thank you very much to iRevise for having me to speak. I'm just going to try share my screen here so that I can hopefully give a brief overview of what we have on offer in the University of Limerick. So just to start off by saying what is unique about University of Limerick, I suppose maybe first of all just give my own credentials as somebody speaking about the University of Limerick. I did my undergraduate studies in the University of Limerick. I did history, politics, sociology and social studies, a course that's no longer available. It's now been incorporated into the new general arts course. I also did my postgraduate studies in the University of Limerick. So if the truth be told, I've been in the University of Limerick a lot longer than maybe anyone should be anywhere. But I'm a sort of a fixture of the place at this point, and it's taken from that experience that I'm just going to speak about what the university has to offer. Our graduate employment rate in the University of Limerick is higher than the national average for the past 10 years. And this is important because employers, I mean, most people who come to third level, they'll want to get good jobs at the end of it. And it's important to recognise that our graduates are getting jobs. With cooperative education, work experience or teaching placement as part of every undergraduate degree. This is highly regarded by employers. It gives you something to put on your CV, and it gives you that experience that employers do look for when you get out into the workplace. We've the largest international exchange program of any university in Ireland, so the opportunities to travel abroad are tremendous in the University of Limerick. I myself, when I did it, I went to New Paltz, which is an hour and a half north of New York City, and I had a fantastic experience, not only in terms of the academic experience, which was brilliant because it allowed me to study maybe things that would have been outside of the course that I would have been doing in UL, but also it gave me a great opportunity to make friends from not just where I was studying, but from all around the world, because you do get lobbed in with study abroad students, as well as the opportunity to travel. And it was from this that I suppose I got the inspiration to go on and do an American aspect to my postgraduate studies. So I was very grateful of that opportunity. We've an award-winning campus. It is to be seen, to be believed, really. It's outside of the city of Limerick. It's outside, built on no landlord's estate, and I suppose this rolling estate, it gives so much to the character of what it is to come to the University of Limerick. I'll show you some pictures in my slides as I go through it. And our student supports, we've a first 7 weeks program, which is unique in Ireland. This, I suppose, for a lot of people, particularly maybe in the current climate, because of everything that is happening in the world, people may be trepidatious about the opportunity of coming to any university, of going to college, just making that transition. And the first 7 weeks program is a program that allows you to, I suppose, settle into the university. It gives you this facility to allow you to settle in, to allow you to maybe turn to a place. It gives you a place to turn to if you've problems, and it just makes that little bit easier to have this program there to support you in making that transition to third level. As well as that, we have top sporting facilities. We've top sporting facilities in the country in the University of Limerick, and I'll again go through that in a moment. I won't go through the courses because I am very short for time, but I will say if you want to find out more about our courses, you can check them out at ul.ie/courses. But I will just give mention to our 3 new courses. These are environmental science, social sciences, and exercise and health fitness management. So UL graduates are getting jobs. I've mentioned already a little bit about our cooperative education. We've continuous assessment and modular degree structure. Again, Jean mentioned this when she was speaking. We have this in the University of Limerick. And we're Ireland's sporting campus. We've some of the best sporting facilities in Ireland, including the largest all-weather park in Europe. We've plentiful accommodation with 7 on-campus student villages. Again, because the university is located outside the city, it gives this it gives the opportunity to, I suppose, have a community of students on the campus. And you see here just in probably a drone shot of the campus itself. It's just 10 minutes from Limerick city centre. So while it's outside of the city, it is also very convenient to the city with buses, a cycle track, available all the way into the city itself. The new UL library is one of the largest campus libraries in Ireland. It's also one of the most digitally advanced in the world. This was a new development in the last couple of years, and it was badly needed at the time it came in, but it is a fantastic development. We have again, on-campus accommodation. We've Ireland's sporting campus. We've over 20 acres of grass pitches in the University of Limerick. And you see there the Munster rugby team are chosen for this picture because they use the facilities in UL, again, because the facilities are second to none. With Europe's largest all-weather park, you see there in the picture is the all-weather park on the Clare side of our campus. And this is our international athletics track on the Limerick side of the campus, and there's been more development of pitches on the Limerick side of the campus very recently, all-weather pitches. We've state-of-the-art rowing club in the University of Limerick, obviously because the River Shannon flows through the middle of the campus. That's a huge natural asset for rowing, but we also have state-of-the-art indoor facilities as well. We've Ireland's largest indoor sporting complex in the UL Arena, you see it there. We've Health and Form Centre, National Strength and Conditioning Centre, group fitness classes, and 4 courts in an elevated running track. And we've over 80 clubs and societies. I myself, as an undergraduate, I joined the History Society. I was studying history, felt like something I should do. I went on. But I suppose I've kind of found my passions through the clubs and societies in UL, and I went on and I joined the Comedy Society, and I got involved in comedy, and I got brilliant opportunities out of it. I got to perform at some of the big festivals like Forbidden Fruit and Longitude. So I got great opportunities out of the clubs and societies in UL. We've American football, mountain biking, outdoor pursuits. See there, the Outdoor Pursuits Club went to Mount Kilimanjaro with a surfing club, GA clubs who are very competitive at the top level. But aside from the top level, whether you're senior inter-county or you're like me, a junior C hurler, there's a team there for you. And again, just because I suppose it's outside the city, there's a community in and around Students' Union as well, with shops, cafes, bank, farmers, market printers and more. And there's always a bit of entertainment and nightlife on campus as well. This is a stage they put up outside Students' Union for different events each year. I've seen big acts perform that stage. I've seen the Coronas, Hermitage Green, Sharon Shannon, Shane McGowan. And if you want to find out more about our courses, make sure to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok. And again, if you want to find out more about the courses themselves, you can check them out at ul.ie/courses. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for that another whirlwind tour around Limerick's campus. One thing is very clear that's coming through from both of you, both Jean and Stephen, is the fun element of university life as well, and college, and the importance of clubs and societies. We might touch on some of that later on this evening. But next up, I'm going to invite Derval O'Reilly from Trinity College to join us. And don't forget, those of you who are tuning in this evening, students and parents, please do use the chat function at the bottom of your screen to ask any questions of our panelists, or you can also use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen as well. So do get your questions into us. If you have very specific questions, we'll put them to our panelists this afternoon. So over to you, Derval, who is coming to us from Trinity College, Dublin.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Joanne, and thanks to iRevise for having us all here today. It's lovely to virtually see you all. I'm going to try and share my screen as well. Hopefully that shall work. I'm not sure if hopefully you're seeing my slides. Perfect. So I'm going to do a kind of another whistle stop tour again. So bear with us. I'm sure it's an information overload for lots of you. But as all the other speakers have said, we have lots of information on our websites. And I suppose the one benefit that's coming out of the strange times that we're in is that all of the universities have more and more assets online that you can access. So we've lots of open days and things like that that are available online. So in terms of Trinity, for those of you who don't know it, we are right in the city centre in Dublin. We were founded in 1592, so we're getting on a bit, over 400 years. And that's our beautiful long room that you can see there on the left-hand side. But we've also, as well as our historical buildings that you can see here behind me and our beautiful long room, we've also got lots of modern facilities on campus as well. And so on the right-hand side there, you can see our new climbing wall. At the moment, we're in the middle of building a new student centre and lots of new student accommodation, which should be built on Pier Street. And then we're also building a new E3 building for our energy, engineering and the environment, with lots of interactive classrooms and lots of kind of new high-tech learning technology, which is great. In terms of our location, our main campus is on the top right-hand side here. And then we've also got T-Tech, which is kind of for our spin-off companies and things like that. And as you can see, within about a 5-minute walk of campus, and we have access to just a really wide range of companies from Facebook and Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, HubSpot, all within about a 5-minute walk, which gives lots of opportunities for students in terms of maybe internship, part-time jobs, things like that. Obviously at the moment, we're not on campus as much as we would like to be, but hopefully by the time you're starting, we will be back on campus again. So in terms of, I suppose, what an education is like in Trinity, we have a kind of few main building blocks that form part of the education, and these do include your extracurricular activities. And so kind of your first building blocks in first year are we kind of really encourage students to get involved in their learning. So we do see you as partners in learning, and the teachers aren't just telling you things, it's a two-way conversation. And students, we expect you to be really engaged from the start of first year, and the more you put into it, the more you get out. And we really kind of feel quite strongly about that. And that's why we really value diversity in the classroom. So we want students from all over Ireland, from lots of different backgrounds from all over the world. And the great thing about that is that you kind of get really great conversations started and things like that. So lots of interesting opinions, you learn a lot from each other, as well as from the professors. As well, one of our kind of core building blocks at the start is getting involved in extracurricular activities. And this is not only fantastically fun, as all the other speakers have said, but it's also a great way to make new friends and to learn new skills. It's a really nice way to meet people from all over campus. So you're not just meeting people from your own course, you're meeting people from lots of different years, you're meeting people from lots of different areas, which is really nice. So we have over 170 different clubs and societies in Trinity that you can take part in. And I have a short video that I'll play right at the end that kind of shows you what's on offer. And we also have an option to take electives, so you can take a subject outside of your subject area for fun and for interest. And we have 40 of those. I mean, you can take those in your second year. Then in your third year, you have the option to study abroad. And we have a great careers service, and they offer lots of fantastic workshops, LinkedIn profiles, mock interviews, things like that, and that leave you really well placed in terms of finding a job afterwards. And then everybody does a research project at the end of their degree. So in your final year, you're doing this unique bit of research, and that's just kind of related to you, which is great when you're talking to employers, and because it's so unique. So in terms of what we have on offer, we have over 130 different undergraduate courses, so really wide range of them. Not going to talk about them all in detail. As you can see, across arts and humanities, we have a lot of courses in business, law, history and classics, creative arts. Some of you might see normal people, and we have a few different people from film studies and from drama that were involved in that, a number of different languages and linguistics courses. And then again, don't expect you to be able to read this, but we have loads of options in terms of taking joint honours combinations. So you can take two subjects that you really like together, even if they're not really related to each other, which is a great opportunity. And then you can decide to focus more on one than another if you'd like. So there's structure there, but a little flexibility within it. And then we've got a range of courses across maths, computer science and engineering. So that's what I studied myself. I did my degree and my master's in civil engineering. A couple of new courses that we have this year, which we're really excited about, computer science and geography, for those of you interested in maybe climate change, the big data that's related to that, really interesting course, and environmental science and engineering. So in your first year and second year, you really focus on the environment, and then at the end of your second year, you decide whether you want to specialize a little bit more in environmental science or in engineering. So you really get to apply your learning, which is great, and you kind of have a little bit of flexibility to learn more about it before you decide what you want to do. And we have 4 different options in terms of science, so you can do biology, chemistry, physics, or biology, physics, chemistry, and geography. And within that, you do 2 core years, and then you decide to specialize at the end of your second year. A range of courses across our health sciences as well, and we're linked to St. James's and Tala as our main teaching hospitals, and our dental hospitals on campus, which is pretty handy if you're living in the city centre. Loads more information in our prospectus, so I'd really recommend that you have a look at that. It gives you an overview of what's on offer, your career opportunities afterwards, the different modules that you'll study, the different requirements that you have, and contact details for the school. And we also did an open day in November, and we have a video there for every single undergraduate course. And so if you want to hear about the course straight from the professor, I'd really recommend that you go online there. And we've also got a few kind of student presentations and things like that too. Our electives that I mentioned that you can do in your second and third year, as you can see, they range from communication right through to technology to languages. So lots of opportunities to kind of try something new. We've also got over 300 exchange partners all over the world. And so we have a range across Europe and outside of that. And you have the option to study abroad for a semester or a year in your third year. And even if you don't want to study abroad, we have a really diverse campus, like I mentioned already. And so we have 18,000 students from almost 120 different countries. So a really good opportunity to kind of meet people and learn new things, even just on campus itself. So I'm going to play a really short video. It's about a minute long, and it is just from our Freshers Week. And it kind of shows you what normally goes on when you sign up for activities on campus. It was online this year, but we're hoping it'll be back to an in-person event next year. So hopefully this should play, and I guess it gives you an idea of the variety. And as some of the other universities said, there's lots on offer in lots of universities, and this just gives you a sample of what it's like in Trinity. So hopefully that gave you a bit of a sense of what Trinity is like. Just a couple of things actually that I didn't mention, just in terms of accommodation. You could potentially live in one of these nice houses. And behind me, I lived in one of them in second year. But we've also got accommodation in halls. So we have 1,000 beds there. It's about 4 kilometers from campus. So it's on the bus and the light rail. It's mainly first year students. So you have a really good opportunity to interact with other students, and you can apply from March usually. Between March and May, so you know in advance if you've got the accommodation before your CAO offers. And there's lots of support services in Trinity Halls and also on campus. So we have a student mentoring scheme similar to UCD. You get assigned a mentor right from the start of the year, and you also get assigned an academic tutor. So that's your kind of go-to professor if you have any issues to write your whole degree. So they're a really good kind of support person to have right until you graduate. So hopefully that gave a bit of a sense of what it's like. If you want more information, just go on tcd.ie/CAO, and we've all our webinar videos there and links to all of our other materials. So hopefully that gave you a sense of what we're like in a very short time.
Thank you, Dervla. Another whistle stop tour, and we're not straying too far from Trinity because we're going across the water to Karen Campbell at the National College of Ireland. Karen, we had some sound issues at the start. Hopefully they have been resolved now. So we'll do a quick check and see, and then we'll come up with a plan if it doesn't work.
Perfect. So hopefully you should be able to see my screen now. Yeah, perfect. So I suppose in regards to tours of the college and stuff like that, we do have all that on our YouTube channel, and we actually have a video of our college as well, our class talk, a really short one, I think it's like 15 minutes, so you can see all details. But yeah, we are based in Dublin City Centre for those who have not heard of National College of Ireland before. And we're beside Connolly Station. We have our own Lewis stop right outside the door, and any bus that brings you into town will leave you in walking distance. We do have a range of courses in computing, business, accounting and finance, human resource management, marketing, psychology, and we now have a new course in childhood education and care. So I suppose we are internationally recognised, we're QQI accredited, and we're not a private college, so we fall under the Free Fees Initiative. The only course that doesn't fall under that is the psychology. But if you are eligible for SUSI funding, we accept SUSI for all of our courses at NCI. So we do have the Higher Cert, a great programme that leads you into the degree courses. You have the option to progress onto business, HR, marketing, or accounting and finance. And this is a great programme for people who are not sitting higher papers. They can use it as an entry route and progress onto our degrees. Where if you're applying directly to the level 8 courses, we do require the 2 H5s, and we do have business, HR, accounting and finance, and marketing, and a work placement option built in. So they vary from 280 points to 230 this year. And then we have our psychology, very popular, and it's PSI accredited as well and SUSI funded. So I suppose just to highlight as well, the school computing, and we've got the higher certs and the level 8, and we do have a work placement option built in as well. So we are very career focused at National College of Ireland, and we have then introduced a new programme in childhood education and care. So there isn't any point sectors at the moment, but it does require the 2 H5s. But details about each of these programmes is on our website. And we do have Student Life and Student Union and a number of clubs and societies for students to get involved in. So hopefully September 2021, everything will be back to normal. And we have our clubs and societies for our students to get involved in, brilliant for your CV, fundraising for charity, elected as a community member. And it is a real asset for your CV going forward for a job. And we do have a sports scholarship that students can avail of. And if they get it, they get a €2,000 bursary each year over 3 years. And we have our own gym on site. They get a free gym membership and a number of other supports as well. And how to apply for that again is on our website. And you can do that from the first CEO deadline right up to the change of mind. So again, just to highlight that we're not a private college, and you can apply to SUSI, I'm pretty sure, from April, so you can start collecting your documentation. And people love studying NCI because we are small, we offer great supports, academic supports, math supports, IT supports here and there, and you might never need them, but it's great peace of mind knowing all those supports are in place if you do. And the progression options, we've got the level 6s leading on to the level 8s, and we have a number of links with PLC colleges in Dublin. So we have links for like Mayans, Inchicore, Closh, Dooley. So if you are thinking about doing any of our courses, you can touch base and find out who we have our links with as well. But our biggest selling points are high employment record. We had an event on there last week, and we'll have more information with that featured on our website. So you can go on and you can see that speaking to myself and the careers team and obviously employers that we work with about how we help our students in employment. So it is a big selling point for us as a college. We're not just about, I suppose, students coming into us and leaving the degree. We want to make sure that you have a job lined up as well. And that's why work placement really features in all of our programs. So our students have industry experience as well as qualifications when they leave us. So all of our information about NCI is on our website on ncirl.ie/CAO. And we are on YouTube, where we have a detailed video about all of our courses. Our website has all the requirements, and we have our own tour of our campus on our YouTube channel as well. And we would love it if you follow us on Instagram as well. And you'll see some of our CAO highlights and our student takeovers that have taken place throughout the year. So that's just a real quick overview about NCI. So I'll pass you back now. So whoever's next.
Thank you so much, Karen. I know the sound wasn't 100% there, but hopefully you got to get a little flavour of what it's like at the National College of Ireland. So I'd like to invite all of our panellists back on, Dr. Stephen Ryan, Jean McQuillan, Karen Campbell and Dervla, to all join us back on screen, Karen, so you can come back there as well with us now. I'm sure the students and parents that are watching have lots and lots of questions. So if you do have questions, please just pop them in the chat box at the bottom of your screen, or you can use the Q&A at the bottom of the screen as well. I'm going to go straight into questions about the CAO because the deadline is fast approaching in terms of getting your application in. And Karen, I'm going to come to you first. Just in terms of advice on listing your college and course preferences and the practicalities around it, like submitting the form correctly. What are the biggest pitfalls that people make, or what's the best piece of advice that you could give somebody with that?
I think a lot of time people don't realise that the minimum entry requirements don't change for a course. The points can go up and the points can go down. So it's really important to look at the minimum entry requirements, because if you don't meet the minimum entry requirements, regardless of you having the points, you won't be offered a place. So that's the one thing I always highlight. And secondly, I would say for every level 8 course that you are thinking about doing, no matter what college it is, have a look to see if there's a level 6 or 7, because 9 times out of 10, you can progress onto the level 8 course that you really, really wanted. So often I say to students, for every level 8, just double check to see if there's a level 6 or 7 to fall back on. They'd be my main 2 points. I don't know if anybody else maybe wants to come in on that.
Does anybody else want to come in on that, maybe with some advice on completing the CAO and making sure that you have it completed properly? Derva, do you want to jump in there very quickly?
Yeah, no, I was kind of gonna echo what Karen said as well. And I suppose, yeah, looking at kind of genuine preference for things and not being put off, particularly by last year's points, because there was a kind of small, I suppose, increase in grades across the board. So if you are looking at kind of trends and points over time, look back over a few years, don't just take last year's ones. And I heard at a presentation recently that I thought was quite a helpful guide would be to have quite aspirational courses first. So things that you really would love to get, but maybe you might not get the points, put them in there anyway. There's no harm in doing that. Maybe have kind of a more realistic selection in the middle, and then maybe 1 or 2 backup plans as maybe your last choice, but obviously they'd still be courses that you want to do. And then maybe, as Karen said, looking at level 6 and level 7 courses, and that could bring you on the same career path, because I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves with their CAO, and there are lots of ways to get into different areas. So you might be able to do it as a conversion course or later on, or kind of build up, start with the level 6 and then do some add-on years there.
And I think as well, you have until like the change of minds, the change, like it will close on the 1st of February, it'll reopen again from the 1st of May to the 1st of July, where there's no cost. So I meet students who might just set up the CAO form, are still not sure they can, you know, avail of the class talks, to their guidance counselor, go onto the website. A lot of colleges, we all have them recorded now as well, to get that information, and they have right up to the 1st of July just to click complete. So just if you're still not sure, that's fine. Like, at least you have the option to do more research and just make sure you have that form open, really. And if you're eligible for here or there, that you tick that, and that you are obviously going to supply documentation, so you don't miss out on getting those extra scores or the points deductions if you're a here student as well. There.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And actually, we have a question coming in there on the Q&A with regards to first preferences. Would you get CAO offers below offer 1 if you don't accept offer 1? So does anybody want to take that question?
I can take that.
Yeah.
So this is why it's really important to put your courses in order of preference, because you will be offered the highest course that you are eligible for. So if you're offered your number 1 choice, as far as the CAO are concerned, that's your favorite course. So all the courses below that become irrelevant. Now you can, if you say you get offered your 2nd choice course, and then your 3rd choice and below that will become irrelevant, you can accept that course, but you could get made a higher offer. So if a space becomes available on your 1st choice, you could get offered that afterwards. So it's really important you do that in order. CAO will give you your highest offer that you're eligible for. And if you accept that offer, that doesn't preclude you from getting a higher offer, but you can never get a lower offer. So it's really important that you do it in order. Hopefully that answers that one.
I'm just going to jump across to Jean there for this question. Ruth Patton asks, trying to decide what course to do and looking at lots of colleges, how should I pick? I'm living in Galway. Jean, do you want to answer that question for us? You're on mute there, Jean.
Unmute. Hi there. I actually did answer her on the chat line, but it's very important.
I think we're losing Jean.
As Derva said earlier, all the colleges have a lot of resources online. We have all our talks online that are. Oh.
Okay, I think we're losing Jean there, so I might just ask the moderators to mute Jean there for a moment. She did mention that her Wi-Fi was.
You got me?
A little
Am
bit.
I back?
Just about, yeah. Do you want to try again, Jean? She's frozen there now, I think. So we might. Yep, I think we'll move on from
better. Sorry, I've had such trouble with my Wi-Fi. You can't hear me.
No, we might just mute Jean there. If the moderators could mute Jean, that'd be great. And actually what Jean did say, back to Ruth, was that there are loads of resources online, including talks about their courses in UCD on the open days. So you can check that out. And that's very important as well, that a lot of the universities will have open days as well. Universities and colleges and ITs will have open days where you will get the opportunity to find out more information about the universities and the colleges and third level education. But she does mention here to Ruth in a message back to her, don't panic, you have time, just make sure you have registered with the CAO if you are doing the leaving this year. And Stephen, I think that's very, very important, that we don't leave it beyond the application date, that even if we don't know what we want to do, it's important that we have the option by starting the process of the CAO form.
It's very important to make sure and get your application in on time. And even if, as you said, Joanne, even if you don't know what exactly it is that you want to do, it's very important to just get that application in, and you can make amendments as you go. And I would really suggest to anybody who is putting in their application to make sure and liaise with your guidance counsellor. I know maybe just because you're not actually in a school setting that you might feel it's sort of invasive, but the guidance counsellors are still there. They're still willing to work with you, and it's very important that you do make use of them and that you do work with them, because they do have great experience in this regard. And I suppose that would be the kernel of wisdom I'd like to impart, is to make sure and work with your guidance counsellors on these applications.
And of course, the guidance counsellors can impart such a huge amount of knowledge for the students as well. I mean, they really are the go-to people. Jean, I'm going to try and come back to you again if you want to unmute, and hopefully the internet will keep us live again. If it happens again, we'll ask the moderators to mute you, but we'll try and keep it rolling a little bit. So the importance of the career guidance counsellors in supporting the students in filling out the form, or guiding them really on what they could or should be doing.
Yeah, it's very important that the psychometric testing that they've done, that they take that into account, and I'm sure they all will. And there's also the decision tree on the CAO website that they can check out, because it's not only important to pick the right course, but you've got to watch the minimum subject requirements. So you have to have a plan B. If you say did a very bad maths test, you need to have another plan of another course that doesn't need that high mark in maths. So plan B, plan C on points and subject requirements, and that decision tree does help you put down exactly and have these different options. Keep your options open. When you go to college, don't specialize too early. The brains are still growing, you're still developing. Stick with it, keep an open mind, and specialize later. So they would be my advice.
Very good. And it is a big question to ask.
Did I get that in?
What are we going to do, for the rest of our lives, potentially, when we're trying to make that decision about going to college and taking on third level education? If somebody had told me all those years ago with my UCC degree what I'd be doing now, I'd have laughed at them. But we're here today to talk about the CAO and about the process as well around choosing the right course and the main considerations around that. And Dervla, I'm going to come to you for that question. What are the key things that we should be looking at in terms of picking the right course, or what process should we go through?
Sure. So I think Jean kind of said some of them already. I suppose first and foremost, and Stephen mentioned it as well, I mean, you want to look at what you're good at. What you're good at and what you enjoy are kind of a couple of the main things, because obviously you need to be able for the course. And a lot of the time, the reason that these subject requirements are in place is because those subjects are a key part of the course. And if you're not good at that subject, or you don't like that subject, then that's probably an indication that you might not like the course itself. And the requirements are there to help you succeed. And so they're kind of to help guide you a little bit in terms of what you're choosing. But I'd also say look at what you're interested in. And because there are so many subjects available in university that you can't do in school, you might not necessarily know certain courses, you mightn't know anything about them. So as Jean said, if you could do your research, look into things, even things you like watching on TV, things maybe your parents are doing, places you've gone on work experience, things like that. I think the more information you have, the better. So I'd look at that, kind of what you like, what you're good at, what you're likely to meet the requirements for. And then, as Jean says, having a plan B or plan C. And then I suppose looking at your time in college itself. So the location of the college, the location maybe of placements, can you commute there? Are you likely to get accommodation? what's available outside of the classroom, like extracurricular activities, things like that. And then I suppose looking at whether there are placements as part of it, like work experience. Can you study abroad? Is that something that's important to you? Most of the colleges here, you can do that. So there are lots of opportunities available and they have lots of supports there for students. I would echo what Jean said in terms of not specializing too early, but that would be my personal choice. But some people know exactly what they want to do, and that's totally fine. If you're very confident that's what you want to do and you've kind of looked at other options, I think that's fair enough. Like the reason I chose Trinity to do engineering was because they did 2 general years and then I got to specialize from 3rd year. So I got to try a little bit of everything. I think if you're doing something like, if you're really unsure, Maynooth have a fantastic arts program where you can try almost anything in your 1st year. Like they have fantastic choice. So if you're really unsure, I would say maybe go for a broad arts program where you have lots of choice. And then I suppose looking at what you'll do afterwards. So career prospects and things like that. And then options for conversion afterwards. So like I did engineering, but then I did my postgrad course in teacher training. I was a teacher for a few years. Then I went, so there are like lots of ways to get into different things. So I would say look at your course by itself as a course, because you'll have lots of options to kind of convert and go into different routes afterwards.
Of
so
course,
hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it's never too late to make a change in direction as well, which I think is important. You know, I'm sure, well, I know I didn't start out thinking I would be doing what I'm doing. I'm sure the same is relevant for lots of people who start university or start 3rd level in one particular course and then end up in a different direction. Does anybody of our panelists want to share maybe theirs? Karen, I see you've unmuted yourself there.
Yeah, the other thing I always say to students as well is to look at the job opportunities for the degree that you do, because if you commit to a 3 or 4 year program, you want to make sure that stands to you in the long run as well. So if it is a case that you are, you know, in 2 minds between one thing and another, I would say look at the jobs market and where you hope to be in the next couple of years' time. Like, and like when I was at the higher options talk, and there was a couple of speakers on earlier on in the year, and that was a big thing, like, you know, in regards to like IT and how, you know, digital transformation, and because of like COVID, it's made a lot of companies move online and the opportunities there. So, you know, traditionally people might have chosen a business degree, but now they might pick business with IT because it's such an asset, and I suppose it's a unique thing, I suppose, that businesses will want. So I suppose that's another thing I always say is, obviously it's great to do something that you really, really love, but you want to make sure that it's going to pay off in the long run, because when you finish your degree in 3 or 4 years, you want to make sure that it was worthwhile. So I would say that, and that's the great thing about courses, having the work placement or give you the flexibility, or maybe sign up for a level 6 course, seeing if it's for you, and then you can always progress on, because once you are progressing, you're eligible for SUSI funding and things like that too. So that's another thing. And again, if you're not too sure, maybe do the level 5 or level 6, see if you really like it first. If funding is a big thing that you need, that you're not letting it go to waste. And that's how I kind of went to college. I did a level 5 and a level 6. You know, marketing featured in a lot of my modules, and then I realized I'd done my degree in marketing, but traditionally I didn't really know what marketing was when I was a CAO student. So, and now I work in the marketing department in NCI and I talk for a living, so it's quite handy. So, I mean, it's finding something that you're going to be good at, but that you like. So if you're not too sure, there's no harm in doing the level 5 or level 6, and then find yourself a little bit of time and then progressing on. I reckon that's just my personal experience as well.
And the other thing as well, and Gina, I might jump to you very quickly with this, is just that things move so rapidly. I mean, technology has moved us on so far. When I was in college, I don't think there was a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, SEO, Google Analytics. There was none of that. And whilst you might be working in marketing, Karen, similar to myself at certain levels, writing content and marketing brochures, somebody behind the scenes for us is doing all the analytics and all of that kind of stuff. So there's so many different routes to go down, Gina. It moves very quickly as well, doesn't it? In terms of the options available, and we're almost trying to be ahead of the curve with what's coming through the education system at a 3rd level, I suppose at a 3rd level. And Gina's nodding at me there, but she's...
Absolutely. UCD works. Okay, wait. Can you hear me now? No? Yeah. UCD works very, very closely with industry, so to have industry related programs, but also to keep up with technology as well. And you're so right, we need funding to do all these things and keep our students relevant to industry. So we work on that all the time. But I did want to come back to a point that Karen was making about where you end up working, because I know people, like I thought I wanted to be a nurse when I was in school, and I did some work experience in a hospital and I kept fainting. So that was the end of that one. And I ended up getting into finance, and I didn't think I'd end up working in a college and speaking to students. So you're right, you just don't know where you're going to end up. But it is very important when you're looking at what you're going to study that you watch the ways that they teach it. So whether it's through practicals, tutorials, and the assessment process, whether it suits you, whether it's modular, whether it's end of year exams. If you have exam anxiety and you one exam per year, it's not going to suit you. So you really have to look at how it's taught, how it's assessed, where you'll end up. And so there are many different factors. And also, just if we could, without COVID, if you could just walk through campus and just look at the students.
I think we're losing Jean again.
But there, since I know, have got we're doing student-led virtual tour. Oh no!
I think
am I back?
We need to get the fiber
very sorry
installed everywhere. I think what Jean was trying to say was, don't be afraid, even though there's COVID, don't be afraid to go onto campus. Obviously, when restrictions are lifted, if it's outside of your 5K limit, and see what it's like on campus, but also use the opportunity to avail of some of the virtual tours and virtual opportunities. I think that's what Jean was trying to say. But we do need to get the fibre broadband rolled out. They can get it out in the Aran Islands, but we don't have it with Jean today. But it's just one of those things. Stephen, I'm going to come to you in UL with the next question. In terms of the paths for education and careers, I mean, it's not just a third level we're looking at. There are apprenticeships, there's further education, there are universities, ITs. There's a huge array of opportunities for those that are sitting their Leaving Cert or maybe in 5th and 6th year this year. Is it possible to study one course in order to leapfrog to another?
Well, I would, while that's certainly something that you can do in terms of transferring from one course to another, leapfrog is a sort of, suggests maybe entering a course with the intention of maybe moving up to a course that might have higher points or whatever. And I would very much stress that that is not something that that really works for students, and transferring between courses, while there's options there, and I would encourage anyone maybe who has gone into a course in first year and is really doubting themselves to make sure and talk to people about it. There are places to turn within all of the institutions for these things to be discussed, and you will get good guidance on this matter. But certainly I think it's important to recognize that you cannot just jump to a higher course. There are reasons for this, because there's limitations maybe of places on courses. Certain courses I know in UL don't allow a transfer in because of the style of their course, psychology being one of them. So I would encourage you, I suppose, to not consider this as plan A, but also recognize the opportunity that is there from as a plan B. And you mentioned going in maybe through QQI. We have a whole range of new QQI pathways available in the University of Limerick this year. And it can often be, I mean, this is an opportunity to maybe get into the university if you didn't get it through the CAO initially, but also it can often be a good thing to do a QQI course, to do a level 5 or level 6 course that would maybe allow you to get a bit of experience in a certain area before you go on. It might let you, I suppose, develop your confidence in a certain area, and sometimes it can just be a useful thing to do. Like I know we have a course in paramedic studies, and you need to have driver's licenses. And I mean, this year more than any, such a requirement is very difficult to get. And it would be a great opportunity maybe to get a bit of grounding if you intend going into paramedic studies, but also allow you to get your qualification, your driving license. So it is definitely something I would encourage people to think about as an opportunity, because just, I mean, everyone is different, and sometimes that would be something very worthwhile to do.
Stephen, can I also ask you about sports scholarships at UL, and how does somebody go about getting a scholarship, or what are the requirements for that within the university?
Yeah, of course, there's you can apply for the sports scholarships. I think the deadline is the 1st of March. I mean, we do attract athletes into the University of Limerick because of our courses. We have some sports related courses. I mentioned we have a new one this year. With physical education as well and sports science. But aside from that, we have excellent facilities. And I think of the All-Ireland winning hurling team, I think the lion's share of them this year are UL students or graduates. But it is, but to apply for these scholarships, you do need to be of a high standard because it is competitive. So you could be applying for the scholarship and you could be up against people with a brilliant sporting CV. So I would recommend that you take a look at the scholarship and get it in. And if you don't get it in first year, maybe you'll get it in second year because you'd be playing maybe at a higher level. So it's important to recognize that the sports scholarships themselves, we have a suite of 3 scholarships, bronze, silver, and gold. And they give you, I think bronze gives you support towards training grant, sports science support, coaching and gym membership. Silver gives you support towards training grant, accommodation, registration, sports science support, coaching and gym membership. And gold gives you support towards training grant, accommodation, registration, sports science support, coaching and gym membership as well. But if you apply for one of these scholarships, your name will go into a hat for another scholarship. Including the Michael Hillary and Jacinta O'Brien Athletics Scholarship, the Plassey Campus Company Swim Ireland Bursaries, and the Paddy Dooley Rowing Scholarship as well. So we have a great range of sports scholarships. And I would suggest to people, don't be daunted, don't kind of go, oh, you know, I'm a really good athlete, but there's a lot to be said for putting in an application, regardless of whether you get it or not, because there's an experience in that. And that's not to say that to have that experience already under your belt, if you were applying the following year, when maybe, you know, maybe you've been on a team that, or you're an athlete who's maybe won something significant in the interim that might boost your application. The other thing I would say is humility will get you nowhere. You have to be singing your own praises.
You have to be bragging about your gold medals and your hurling titles and all the rest of it. I'm going to come to you very quickly, Dervla, on the other side of a scholarship in terms of supports for students around funding and access supports. You might give us just a quick oversight or overview of some of that, if you wouldn't mind for me.
Sure, no problem. So I would just say that it's really important that students have a look at the opportunities in terms of here. So that would be applicable to most of the universities and for Susie as well. So your guidance counselor will be able to give you a lot of guidance in relation to that. And the important thing for here and there is to make sure you get your paperwork in on time. And at the moment, there are kind of lots of delays with COVID. So it's really important that you get it in as early as possible. And then for Susie, I would say that maybe a lot of people, their situation might have changed this year in terms of maybe people that were working aren't working now. You may have thought you might not be eligible before. Maybe it'd be a good time to kind of reassess and have a look at the different thresholds in terms of your family income, because there is support there, and it could be either kind of a maintenance grant, or it could potentially cover your student contribution as well. So there are supports there, and I'd really recommend using them. Then some universities will also have kind of say a beneficiary fund that might be available to students that you could apply for, and sometimes they'll have like hardship grants and things like that. And then we've also got lots of prizes and scholarships as well for academics or for sports and things like that. They're going to vary college to college, and usually the colleges will have a scholarships page, and they might also have a page about kind of prizes for maybe the top student in a year or the top student in a project. And I know in Trinity they can vary from a very small amount, like you might get 50 euros, it might range up to several thousand euros. So it's important to look into what you might be eligible for and to just kind of do your homework a little bit on that. You obviously can't guarantee for things like scholarships that you'll get them, but it's still really good to kind of know what you are eligible for. For Susie, it'll just be a means based one. So definitely it's there to support students. So if you're eligible, just make sure that you have the paperwork just to support that.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm going to wrap it up right now, or in the next few minutes. And I'm going to ask you one more question each. And that one question is going to be, what is the one piece of advice you would give to our students and parents tuning in tonight about filling out the CAO? The most important piece of advice that you believe the students should take away from today? I'm going to jump to you first, Karen, if you don't mind. So just remember to unmute your mics there as well.
Yeah, I suppose the main thing is to have the CAO form set up. And I would say if you are eligible for here or there, or you're not too sure, to double check that, because there is deadlines for the documentation. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st of March. So to make sure that if you are eligible for those supports, that they're obviously available to you when you do go to college in September. And then in regards to your CAO form, you have right up to the 1st of July. So there isn't really any pressure, because it is very uncertain at the moment how things are in regards to what the Leaving Cert might look like for students and when they're going to return to school. All those kind of things are worries that they have right now. They don't have to have it complete by the 1st of February, but they definitely have right up to the change of mind in July. So they would be my main things.
Very good. Stephen, I'm going to come to you with the same question.
I think the most important thing that that somebody filling out the CAO now needs to bear in mind is that they will see the benefits and repercussions of their choice. So it's their choice, and there may be 1,001 people offering advice around you, and there may be pressures, or internal or external pressures, but it's important that you pick something that you want to do, because if you pick something because somebody else wanted you to do it, you're facing into a problem there, because you may not like it. It may create problems for you in college. It may not be properly suited to you. So bear in mind that you have to live with the benefits or repercussions. So do what you want to do.
Very good. And Jean, I'm going to come to you next with your one piece of advice, and I'm crossing my fingers and toes for the internet.
Well, I'd agree with Stephen, but I would also say as well, make sure you're happy with your course. Don't worry about other people, what they think of your course. Don't spend your points. It's not a points competition. And aim high. My dogs are about to go off now. Aim high and have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. You just don't know what's going to happen.
And then finally, Dervla, the same question to you.
Yeah, I'd probably echo what some of the others have said. I would say follow your passions. I know Karen had said look at careers and everything, but there are so many ways to get into careers. So while that is important, you're going to spend 3-4 years doing this course. You have to enjoy it. You're the one that has to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning when it's raining and want to go to class. So I would say kind of follow your passions. And a lot of the time as well, recruiters don't just recruit from certain courses. They tend to recruit good students who've kind of shown themselves to be able to apply themselves. So you haven't necessarily ruled many things out. Apart from certain professional courses, you have lots of ways to get into everything else. So I would say there are lots of opportunities afterwards. So I think all you can do is make a decision based on the information that you have now. You never really know where life is going to take you. So I would say do something that you kind of know from looking at it, that you'll enjoy it. Do as much research as you can from what's available online. And there's only so much you can do. And I would say, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't panic. There are always different ways to get into things. So this decision, while it is important for the next few years, it's not going to dictate your whole life. And I think I found that when I was choosing my course, that I was like, if I don't make the right decision, that'll be it. I won't be able to do all these things. And that just isn't the case. There are so many ways to get involved. Even sometimes when students take up extracurricular activities in college, sometimes that ends up being their job. I know like a couple of, say, Mark Little or David O'Doherty or any of those, they would have done, say, business course in college, then gone into journalism, gone into comedy, things like that, based on the extracurricular courses they've done. So it's not all about the course, it's kind of about everything else that's on offer too. So I would say, don't panic, make the best decision you can, and then enjoy your time in college. And whatever you do, you'll most likely be able to do what you want to at the end of it. It might be a slightly longer route going in some directions than another, but there are loads of opportunities out there. And just best of luck to everyone with their studies and with their CAO form. And as Karen said, you can change your mind right up until July. So best to get something in now, and then you've still got loads of opportunities to change your mind if you decide to do so after your exams or predicted grades, however way it's going to go this year.
And we won't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to you all, our speakers this evening, Karen Campbell, Jean McQuillan, Dervla O'Reilly and Dr. Stephen Ryan from the University of Limerick. Thank you so much everybody for joining us. Some fantastic advice. I know it's a very stressful time for students and parents. I know myself, when I was doing my CAO many years ago, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I put down business, I did commerce in Cork, and I changed careers in the middle of my 30s, and now I'm following a passion for sport and a passion for marketing. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, but I picked a course and I really enjoyed it. I really got stuck in college in the different clubs and societies, the Students' Union, and I made the most of my university experience, and it stood to me throughout the years as well. I think the key message that's come across to me anyway this evening is that your school, your teachers, and all of the third level institutions have an abundance of advice, support, information, online and in person, and will happily talk to students about the options that are available to you for the future, and especially this year. From my own perspective as an endurance athlete, and for someone who embraced college and now has a career in communications, I would say that the most important thing for you to do is to find something that you love rather than something that you feel you should do. And never be afraid to change direction if the path you're on doesn't suit. And as Stephen was saying earlier, be sure to talk to people if your course doesn't suit you before you make any rash decisions, but that there are always options and there are always choices. Thanks again to our panelists, and of course to our host, to iRevise.com, who organised tonight's session. Reminder that the most helpful study and exam resources, as well as information on CAO and college options, are all on iRevise.com. See you again next month, and feel free to share the link for tonight's session with other students. Thank you, good night, and the very best of luck to you all. Gurmila Mahagav, Slán.